see the timer. We're already at 14 minutes now. Do you see that?
Mm-mm.
You don't see the timer? Okay. Not sure why, but I'm going to go ahead and share.
Oh,
And does
What happened?
anybody see this?
yes.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the website right now. And what I've noticed on Firefox, this video up here doesn't seem to play. I don't know who has watched the website and if they've seen this video. And if they haven't, I'd be curious to know which browser you are on. I don't know why it's not working on Firefox. And because it's something that I'm unable to troubleshoot, I may remove that video and just put a widescreen image of the BC coast or something to that effect, or the BC flag, whatever.
I think that's a good idea because, yeah, it isn't playing on Firefox. That's what I use, and it might even be contributing to the fact that it takes quite a while to download.
Okay, so I will remove this picture.
And I'm not seeing it on Safari either, by the way.
You aren't? Okay, interesting. That's too bad because I kind of like that video. But anyways.
I was on the website this afternoon, Jocelyn, but I didn't realize that that was a video. I did everything else on the website, so I'll go back after and see if I can and let you know.
Okay, no worries. So when you first went on it, you should have also gotten the pop-up for the cookies.
Yep.
Okay, and you can always change your consent whenever you want. You can withdraw your consent. So the cookies are working as designed for this website. So we're meeting that requirement. And the other thing that we're also meeting is the terms and conditions and the privacy policy, which is on the website now.
Jocelyn?
Yeah.
I'm feeling as if we need to do around the table intros. I'm sorry, maybe you already did this before I got on, but I feel as if we've kind of jumped right in without really welcoming Gretchen and you know, doing a check-in. I'm used to doing a check-in with you know,
sure.
Go ahead. How everybody's doing and
yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Sandy.
Yeah, okay. Well, I can start, I guess. If I have the idea, I do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Sandy, and I'm just up the road from where Gretchen usually hangs out in her office. And I have a feeling you're in your house now, Gretchen. But yeah, and yeah, I'm really grateful to be coming to you from the traditional territory of the Coetzin people. Very grateful to be on their land and really welcoming the sun and the crispness of today and looking forward to what we have to share today. And I'll hand off to Krista.
Thank you, Sandy. My name is Krista. I'm here in Vancouver, in East Vancouver, traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples. I am a funeral director and death educator, been very, very passionately connected to this, but didn't know about you guys until very recently. So have only been around for a short time. And I'm just so glad that there's this wonderful organization trying to get this done. I will hand off to Gretchen since she has to leave the earliest.
Hi, folks. Thank you for inviting me or allowing me to join your group. I do work with Cowichan Hospice, and today I am appreciative of living on traditional and unceded Cowichan territory. It is a beautiful place. I'm representing myself here personally in this group, but I'm very interested in what you're doing and looking to learn lots more. Thank you.
I'll go next. I'm Chris Benish. I am owner-operator of Earth's Option Cremation and Burial Services in Victoria. And we have been kind of pressing our friends at the government to get this alkaline hydrolysis underway for several years now. And very grateful that all of you have taken up the cause And I just wish to kind of stay in the background and be a consultant of some sort, or just a person of interest to help the cause, and let you drive the ship.
I'm hearing a
Good.
thing.
I can go next. I'm grateful also to be on Cowichan unceded territory, and grateful to Sandy for speaking about some of the AH benefits at a rally that we were all at. Otherwise, I still wouldn't know about this probably. But it really spoke to me, and Adrian hooked us up. Sandy and I actually sang in the same choir for a couple of years, so we had a previous connection. And it's been very energizing for me to have all the new additions with all your skills and enthusiasm and experience. So I see us taking giant leaps forward.
Yeah. Ruth? Ruth, you need to,
Yeah,
there you go.
all these things are so different from what we normally do. Anyways, I am Niall's mother, and I first heard about alkaline hydrolysis from her, and then I belonged to the Women's Institute, so I put forward a resolution, and that was approved in 2020 by the Women's Institute of BC. And so we've been working on sending letters and getting people involved. And yeah, everyone's been a good help to us to promote more. And the Women's Institute is very supportive. So we've got lots more happening now. Okay.
Who's going to go next? Niall, Adrian?
Sure, I'll go quickly. And everyone knows me. Gretchen and I know each other through her sister, Lisa Hartley, who's a celebrant here in Vancouver. So really nice to see you again, Gretchen. You and Lisa look so much alike. It always floors me. I see you. And I guess I just want to say that it's so great to see other faces who are not just funeral industry faces as part of this cause. And I echo Chris, I'm really happy to be a part of this. And while I'm busy running my own business, I know there's really only so much actual attention I can give this. So whatever kind of help I can add to it, I will, but I can't be like a full-time, I guess, worker at this, but I'll give it my best.
Not like Jocelyn, who I think does this 24/7.
Are you there, Adrian?
Mm.
Okay.
Are you there, Adrian?
How about Sandy next?
I've already gone.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
And he started it.
Thank you for indulging me, Jocelyn.
So
Yeah.
I'll introduce myself. I
Mhm.
started alkaline hydrolysis in British Columbia back in 2011. Gretchen, in case you weren't aware of that, I was the first alkaline hydrolysis system in the country, but for pets. And I was awarded a Green Initiative Business Award by the Vancouver Island Green Business a couple of years later. And then, of course, the first human system was installed in Saskatchewan in 2012. So I've been really trying to push for alkaline hydrolysis for humans in Canada, in BC, I should say, since 2014. And then I had Chris join in, and then Chris has been fighting the battle ever since. He's been talking to all the bigwigs, and he's a great addition to this. So that's how this all started. And thankfully, when we heard about the initiative from the BC Women's Institute, I called Chris right away and I'm like, oh my God, we've got a group of people that maybe we can ask help from. And all you ladies showed up on the doorstep, and it's really exciting to see so many people wanting to get this approved. So I'll do whatever I can on the technology side. And I apologize, Sandy, that we didn't do an intro at the beginning. I have no manners, but I mean well. So, okay. Are we good? Can we start again?
Let's go back to the website. Yeah.
Let's go back to the website. Let me go ahead and share. So, where were we? Oh, yes, I was at the bottom saying that we finally have the terms and conditions and the privacy policy on the website. So for anything legalese, especially that we're hoping to become a non-for-profit and to start collecting donations, we're addressing the needs of privacy, the Privacy Commissioner's rules and regulations for British Columbia. So right now, this flow can definitely be adjusted as you get familiar with it, maybe get feedback from friends that look at the video or look at the website, I should say. Let me know, and it takes no time for me to move stuff around, change the text, whatever. And what I did under here, under our team, we've got now a board of directors and a board of advisors. What I need to understand from the group is what would be the expectations of each group. Like, what do we expect the board of directors to do? What do we expect the board of advisors to do? Is there a difference between the two? Should we try to find somebody that can give us some access to big names like Robert Bateman or the BC Sierra Club chapter? It's important that whoever comes on this website sees the people involved behind this and recognize that this isn't just the funeral industry that's trying to get this approved, that it's really BC citizens trying to get this done for BC citizens. So I don't know what people have thoughts on this.
It's Chris here. Basically, I would like to just be, I don't have a problem being on the board of directors. That's no problem. Technically, it's just a position that we're creating, but it doesn't have any teeth in the sense that we're not an organized not-for-profit society yet that is required to have a board. But it looks good. I'm good with it. Also, advisory, of course, that's my key role, is just to advise on what I've done and what I can do in the future just to help out.
So if we do create a non-for-profit, though, we're going to have to assign directors.
I think, a couple of us touched on that via email, and I think that is a good idea to create a nonprofit, simply because it provides a little more credibility. You can download a boilerplate constitution. It's pretty basic, and that might be something when we get to the actually lobbying government stage, that we have that, and then we can enlist people to join as members. They don't necessarily have to pay anything, but it's a way for them to sign up, and that we can say that as a board we represent, I don't know, this many people or something. Even when people perhaps could be added to the petition or that section, Jocelyn, where if people want to, once they feel comfortable, just sign on as a member once we create a nonprofit. That might be something, but I'm open to hear other people's opinions about it for sure.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to have a big donate button on the homepage when people come to it, or once they're done signing the petition, it automatically brings them to a page asking if they'd be willing to donate. Because one of the people that Chris has been speaking with is this lobbyist gentleman here. And I think that's the guy that Chris feels would be a really good lobbyist for our case. Chris, you want to talk about that, or?
Yeah, Michael Gohegan is called upon by the CTV and the CBC as an expert in policy with provincial government affairs in British Columbia. So quite often, if you're watching the newscast, you'll see Michael, and he's really a very strong lobbyist. He personally golfs with the Premier. He knows him well, and he can definitely speak to any issue. Michael is probably running about $3,000 retainer, and then he goes from there. And as the money drains, he asks for another injection. So we're a ways away from that yet, but at least if we're building a war chest with donations, we have funds to go to Michael and say, hey, look, next time you're golfing with the Premier, can you push for us? And he has tangibles, like he will actually say, here's the occasions where I met these people, these ministers, the Premier. Here's the occasions in which I specifically talked about your issue. And he definitely has influence. Like I say, the national news level even calls him on BC issues. So very good guy to know. Very good guy, especially because he knows the current anyways. So yeah, hopefully we can build a war chest.
Jocelyn, I have a question.
Yes.
When you scroll down to the Board of Advisors, who's the woman? I don't know her.
Laurie is from Anora Cremation. She has been in contact with us from the very beginning. Is she a friend of yours, Nayo? I don't remember.
Yeah, I worked with Lori a while ago, and she's a colleague as another funeral home owner in the Lower Mainland. Yeah.
Yeah, if you click on her image, you'll get her bio. So she's really been hoping that this would get approved. So that's who she is. Yeah. So we need more board of advisors. What I envision the board of advisors being is there to answer either technicalities or answer questions from other funeral professionals that want to understand it better. Case in point, we had a funeral director. He sent me an email and he's like, hey, I Googled aquamation and found you guys. I really want you to know that I support this as a funeral director in BC, and I'd love to do whatever I can to support the efforts. So this is still really unknown by a lot of people. So by having a board of advisors, we're going to invite any funeral professional or maybe even the media, if they have questions, to reach out to the board of advisors, unless somebody feels differently. I don't want to make the decisions here.
Well, you've added a comment section, right? And we did a little test on it today, and we know it works.
Yeah.
And so those comments or questions will come through the website to you, presumably. So would you then boot them to a board of an advisor
Yes.
on the board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do we track that?
How do we track the emails?
Yeah, the comments and that kind of thing. Is there an archive function within the website where we can track things like comments and queries that come through? So then at one point we might have an FAQ.
Absolutely. So right now the emails come to a Gmail account, which is what you got from me on the agenda. That's the Aquamation BC Coalition Gmail that's been in existence for a couple of years now, when Chris and I first talked about trying to put something together to get this approved. So everything is there, but everything that comes through JotForms, and I'll show you that in the next segment, you'll be amazed at the amount of data that we're collecting right now, and how much use we're going to be able to get out of that. So I'll get to that in a second, and I'll be able to answer all those questions. The other thing
I
too,
kind of feel like we need to have somebody who's either stepping up to say they're going to be the leader of our group, or we take a vote and and vote somebody in. But I think, you know, to answer these kinds of questions about what's the board of directors going to do and the board of advisor, I think we need to have a little structure just within our own little group right now and see who wants or can do whatever tasks need to be done. Because otherwise, Jocelyn, a lot of stuff could just be automatically falling on you because you've been able to create this website, and you'll be the one in the background monitoring things. So I kind of feel like that needs to happen maybe before we move along and do other things.
I agree. And that's why I put that on the agenda, what the responsibilities and expectations and everything are. I'm thinking maybe we can get through the meet today and then put out a jot form that all of you can fill and decide what you feel should be expected, what you're looking for, what kind of support, who should do what, who do you nominate? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I think
so who's the chair? Is there a secretary? All of that.
exactly. I totally agree. I'm trying to keep everything condensed right now in one area so that we all have access to the info. I can certainly create a Gmail account that the website would send inquiries to that everybody can have access to. The only thing is, there again, who's responsible for answering the emails? Is it necessary for everybody to have access to it? Should it just be one or two people? Yeah, it's a big endeavor. And some people will need to step up to the plate if they're willing to take on the challenge. This is pretty big. And the meeting today is really only skimming the surface, and it basically is skimming what's been done on the technology side, and now we just have to see how the wheels are going to turn. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
It does make sense. I feel as if we've gone from very quickly, we're moving from this sounds like a really good idea. Look at all these people who are interested, to holy Dinah, we're going province-wide. This is really serious stuff, and we really need to knuckle under and get the job done. I personally am not putting my hand up because I'm already on like 3 boards, and I'm literally organizing 3 different AGMs today for within the next week or 2. So I'm not stepping up for that. And it sounds as if what you were suggesting, Jocelyn, from the website is or pardon me, Nio, I think you were suggesting a leader kind of person, like a triage sort of person to, okay, and once we get those roles and responsibilities sorted out, that, you can, there's delegation or something. I feel like right now we're more of a lateral organization, which I'm comfortable with. I'm, part of a couple of groups that function more like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends what people feel would be the most effective and efficient.
I believe that you can actually have a bit of a best of both worlds kind of situation there, where there are clear areas of responsibility, shall we say, maybe not roles per se, but areas of responsibility or places where people feel that they can contribute and still be actually not a hierarchical institution. Just because as a not-for-profit, we would have to assign titles, and titles have all sorts of baggage and association with them. But if we also understand that we're doing this for a purpose of ticking certain boxes, Madam President doesn't necessarily be any more important than Madam Board, but Madam Advisor, who who doesn't have a formal title, right?
Right.
Well put.
I concur. It's Chris here. Yeah, I concur with that that you just mentioned, Chris. That also, it's I wouldn't want to see any one person bogged down with too much. I'm certainly willing to help out, to whomever, however. And I think we're all in that position that if somebody's needed to do one thing and then like on a meeting agenda item, you assign it to one person like we've done in the past. And then at the next meeting, we report on the progress of that particular assignment. So like, for example, one of the tasks I was given a couple of meetings back was to be in touch with the new board, or I should say the new director of the Memorial Society of BC. So when I get to meet that person, I'm going to report back and say, there was my item. And here's the update on that particular thing. So I think our past system has worked well, where we just kind of each take on a particular task and then report back to the group.
Hey, good news on that front too. They reposted a social story of mine on Instagram that got that directed some more folks to the petition. So, and of course they have to be so careful about looking like they're supporting anything. So they did it in a sneaky way, but it was good.
Okay. I'll just continue with the website real quick. That's the Canadian timeline as to how alkaline hydrolysis got approved. And this is for the people that are wondering what we're doing in BC. And this is from 2013 onwards. And all these little things, these are all Chris Benesh's efforts. They all link to a blog with more information on his website. And then this is where we are today, which is getting together as a coalition and hopefully making this happen. Then the funeral homes. These will be the funeral homes supporting Aquamation. And this is the guy here, Creston Valley. This is the guy that reached out and wanted to express his support and desire to see this approved. And I'm hoping we can fill this up with a lot more funeral homes saying they want to do this. And we want the public to say, hey, if you want this and you already deal with a funeral home, ask them, do they support this? They should go on the website.
Mm-hmm. Adrian,
Perhaps the Wallace one will go on there.
sorry?
Perhaps the Wallace.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adrian's already been in touch with her. She's a recent purchaser of a well-established funeral service here.
Okay.
As has Gail. Gail and her husband have switched over their arrangements to Wallace. So they've met with her and spoken to her as well. So that's a couple of people, which is great. And I think it would be just a matter of directing her to the website and getting her to check it out and see, her comfort level. And
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. I can ask Gail to do that.
Okay. That'd be great.
And should Wallace's lag behind for any reason? I don't think they would. I think they'd be quite eager. But if they did, feel free to let me know. And on the QT, I can ask Harold Wallace to encourage his buyer to do that. I know that his purchase or the sale of his business was done on a slow buyout, which means that he still has a vested interest for a number of years. So he's influential still within his former company. So if any pushback or just delay because they're busy, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, let me know and I'll be glad to reach out to Harold personally. He and I coffee quite a bit, so I can just ask Harold to give them a push.
Oh, that's great.
Excellent.
Okay.
Chris, thanks.
So that's it really quickly with the website.
Jocelyn, can we add stuff to the timeline?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that we should put the Women's Institute efforts on there because they are quite
Absolutely.
serious and concerted in their efforts.
Absolutely. Yes, we can even, I'll look at the date of that resolution and I'll plug it where it goes for the date. And then I'll put the link to their website with that resolution. Is that what you're thinking?
Great.
The resolution, and then they've written, Mom, you could probably correct me, but they've written probably 3 letters, and it's a constant campaign. So on a fairly regular basis throughout the year, they talk about what letters should we be writing now and who should we be sending them to. So I don't know how much detail you want for your
Excellent.
timeline, but just
No, the more the better. The more the better.
And the logo.
And the
Ruth.
logo, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And I can make the text smaller, which can then minimize the timeline, and it's easier to see it all in one view, or leave it, big like this for people like me who can't read. So whatever's easier. Yeah, definitely. Anything else added to the timeline that somebody can think of? Krista, you've been doing stuff as well.
Yeah,
I think
my
you-
next big task
Should we
is really
put
the
the
Memorial
CBC
Society
stuff?
BC. And when the Memorial Society BC acknowledges, like they have given us a letter of support in the past,
Yeah.
but when the Memorial Society actually, under the new director, when that comes,
Yeah.
that's going to be huge because that represents 200,000 members in the whole province.
Exactly.
So that's a huge endorsement. So yeah, I'll definitely update you, Jocelyn, with the efforts on the Memorial Society front.
Okay. And then Krista, didn't you do a podcast on alkaline hydrolysis?
Broadcast on green disposition methods on the CBC. I do have a WMV file for it, or you can send it to my website, whichever.
Yeah, whichever. Absolutely. If you can send me the link, and I'll be happy to put that on the timeline as well. So anything
Yeah, I
else
think
that
that
you
would
guys
be
are
important.
thinking? Yeah.
The CBC has some status in the country. So if you're doing this extended series, I think it
Yeah,
could be
it'll go
really
until 2023 is the current plan. So, and it obviously won't be green each time, but there's like sort of a seasonal piece that I'll be able to pull in to revisit.
great.
Okay. Great.
One other thing, we are the BCWI. We have a letter ready to go to the BC Funeral Association, and I think one of the things I noticed is that their annual general meeting is April 26th to the 28th. So I thought if we want to be getting information to them, we should get it to them before their annual meeting.
Are you still part of that, Chris?
No, I'm not. I think no, it might be. I'm not.
Okay.
I am a member, so I can do what I can in that department.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So that's the website. Jot forms. We've right now received 85 signed submissions from people. This one here below here, that's the new one that I put out without using DocuSign. This is the one here that was with DocuSign. So the kind of information that we're able to pull from this is extensive. It's got everything to comments if they put any. It tells us which city that they're signing from. And these, of course, are all certified British Columbian voters. So the opportunity to create reports and analytics is huge. And that is something that we can then share with the government as added ammunition to tell them that this is really what the BC consumer wants to have. So whatever reports people want to see, we can pull them from here. So I wanted you to know that if you're meeting with somebody or you have a question because you want to share it with anybody, let me know and I'll pull a report really quick for you based on, are you looking for how many people are from the Lower Mainland, how many people are from the interior, so that we can start concentrating our efforts in areas where there is nobody signing and get more of them to sign, like the guy from Creston Valley would be a good example. So that's why I like Jot forms so much. And there's so much more that I can do with that. We can collect a newsletter email list. We can collect volunteers and create a volunteer platform. And then, volunteers can send in questions and say, hey, if you could do this for us, then we'd be able to get you a whole bunch of signatures. For instance, the petition letter that we currently have, I know that some people don't want to sign online, but there's a bigger problem. There's the seniors in care homes that don't have access to computers. If these were printed with an address where they can mail their form to, then we're going to be getting even more people to sign for alkaline hydrolysis. The only thing that we need to decide is which address should this be sent to, because I'll eventually need to have all those forms. I don't mind receiving the forms here. Chris has also offered his business in Esquimalt to receive the forms. They can be addressed to Aquamation BC Coalition with his address or mine. I think Krista also offered. Was it you, Krista? But we would need to, I would need to know where everybody agrees that the signed mailed form should go to, because I need to put the address on the form that people would be printing.
So I live in a 1-bedroom apartment that's about 600 square feet. So I was offering, because I want to step up, but if there is a bigger kind of officey space that could easily manage it, then yep, I'm all for it. If not, though, I'm here for you.
Okay, no problem. All right. So
question about seniors in facilities perhaps not having access to computers, which I totally understand. Would a printed form be able to be faxed somewhere? I'm just thinking of the work and logistics of mail. We have to fund postage, it has to go somewhere, then it has to be resent to you, and envelopes have to be opened. Is there a way to expedite all that?
Faxed. I don't know if a fax signed copy is legal in BC. Is it, Chris?
I don't believe it is. I believe it has to be an original. So the way I would envision that moving forward would be if we were to have a person, let's say, for example, Niall decided to go to a specific nursing home or care facility within her jurisdiction. And if she got agreement from the gatekeeper to allow the petition in, she could perhaps supply a number of keeper, rightfully so that they're not bombarded with nonsense. And so, like where my mom is, for example, if I went to speak to Rose Manor, they may allow the petition to be available, and if they did, then I would volunteer to go pick them up and then bring them back to where we're gathering them. So that's about the only way I can see mail-ins work. Otherwise, it would be probably people who would say, I'm not comfortable putting this information online in any way, shape, or form, regardless of the security. So I want to print a form, I'll fill it out, I'll mail it. That's at their discretion. So then it goes back to just, what address you want to use for a mailing address. And then we can gather those physical copies to hand it to government in the future.
And by the way,
And by the way, I am willing to let my address stand because our address, we don't anticipate for a number of years ever it moving. So our address at our office is more than fine if the members want that.
Mm-hmm. That would be great. And it may just be semantics, but I have 2 parents in care homes, and neither of them would be able to comprehend, different care homes, and neither of them would be able to comprehend this, nor how, so I think perhaps independent living facilities, perhaps elder homes of conglomerate living where elders live, independent settings, gated communities, that kind of thing. But care homes, I don't think there would be, I think we'd be doing a lot of work for not a lot of payoff.
Yeah, good point.
I think at the end of the day, all it really gives us is just an alternative for those who are not comfortable online. I think 90% or plus are going to be more than comfortable online.
Totally.
Because that's the world we're in. And for the few percentage, I wouldn't get worried about or, take a whole lot of time worrying about those that are afraid of online.
I vote for Chris's address.
What was that?
I live down the street from his office, so it's perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's no
Okay.
problem.
So, Chris, perfect.
I thought you were on the mainland, Jocelyn.
Oh, no, I'm in Esquimalt.
Ah,
Yes,
She's literally a block away from my office. so I can-
literally.
oh,
Yeah.
no
I can
wonder
throw
you know
rocks
each
at
other
her.
so well.
Yes.
I think that each of us as well, because we each wear so many different hats, can speak. I'm thinking Ruth with you with Probus, and I mentioned it at my buddies group this morning. We get together on Zoom now, but every Thursday morning, and I mentioned it to them. So that's 5 people who didn't know about it who have now been directed to the website. And I'm thinking too that we've got a Women's Institute, a district Women's Institute event coming up in March, and we can do a talk there and circulate a petition perhaps, or even offer the template letter, those kinds of things. We can go ready with that because we'll have a number of different branches there. And yeah, so
There's also that form with the business card size, the wallet size there on the homepage.
right.
You can print.
Mhm.
Each one gives you, I think, 10 wallet size handouts. So you can
Mhm.
just, hand those out as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, can get those printed and
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Here,
Or
Is there a way? Sorry.
no, I was just going to say I have already sent a letter to the BCWI for our newsletter coming out at the beginning of February, and I put in the website and asked them people to read to sign.
Mhm.
And I have approached Probus, and their reply was there are so many people that would feel uncomfortable with that because I had wanted to have Chris as a speaker.
Really?
So there you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
What's Probus?
yeah.
the
Yeah.
Probus?
university based.
It's
Professional business retirees.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I have a question, you guys. I really want the media to run with this. We have a couple of contacts at CTV and Global, but I'm thinking until we're classified as a non-for-profit and legitimized, maybe stay away from the media for now so that when we do go to them, they're going to be like, holy moly, when did this all happen? Right? Because there's quite a few people at CTV and Global that have reached out to Chris and to me, and there's another person that works out of her home office in Toronto, but she's dealing with BC, that really want to do a big story on this, but I don't think we're quite ready to do that yet. How does everybody feel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
would agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
good.
we're going to need to figure out who wants to be on the board. Sandy, you seem to have some experience with non-for-profits, or your husband.
Mhm.
Did you want to help me
Yeah, we can look into that.
get through that, and then we can disperse it to the rest of the team? Okay.
Mhm.
We're doing pretty good on time. Is there any? Oh, yes, the meeting portal. So this is a new technology probably for many of you. So instead of email, which I abhor because then you end up with so many threads and it's like, oh, where was that conversation? Slack is one of the ones that I really like using. It's something that you just log into if you want to know what's been happening. And you can see conversations, you can see documents, you can see updates, you can ask a question. There's a way for you to also audio speak with people on Slack without having to do video. Like maybe Sandy has a question for Nayo and she can go on there and ping Nayo to see if she's on. And if she is, she can ask the question. So it really streamlines the communication between all of us. So, I can send you guys a little intro video on Slack and send you an invitation to join Slack just with your email address. Get familiar with it. And if it's something that you think you guys want to do, then I will load it up with all the documents and the conversations thus far. And we can start.
We could maybe just play with it a bit because I know everybody has different levels of, and a lot of people had to maybe not in this group, but maybe in the last 2 years, you might have had to try this one and that one and the other and blah, blah, blah. So it can feel a little like, ugh, not another.
Overwhelming.
But I hate all of them except Slack. So
oh, you like Slack?
so
Good.
I do like Slack, and I find that like I'm not. It has to be super intuitive for me, and it's intuitive.
Mhm.
I'm a woman of a certain age, so
Jocelyn, can I add my 2 bits worth? I'm not thrilled about moving off of email. What I do in a thread is I delete previous ones so that I've got 1 email per thread. I don't have 50 emails, and we've certainly had a lot going back and forth because I'm not good at going and searching out somebody's website or going and checking something. I want it to come to me in my inbox. But
you can actually set
that's
the
me, the
Slack
Luddite.
notifications, right? So they will actually go to your email,
Yeah.
and then you'll know that it's there.
Mm.
So in
Yeah.
other words, if somebody wanted to ask you something, they can send you a notification through Slack. It would go to your email, and then you can reply.
Hmm.
But
I have to say I get tired of technology. I really do. I know it's useful.
I
but
hear you. I hear you. I remember the days of Dippity Doo and the curlers in the steam box, and putting cards on the spoke wheel of my bike. Yeah. We definitely moved ahead. So, yeah.
So I will reluctantly do Slack. I think someone has signed me up already because we're supposed to be doing that within our business. I hate having to try and look at other things, but if that is easiest for the group, I am on it and I'll just pay attention to it. So I will defer to the group on this one.
Okay. No problem. We can certainly revisit it. I mean, it's not set in stone. I'm just trying to keep it simple and keep it centralized so that I'm not storing documents here and documents there and having to look for stuff. So, yeah. Okay.
Right now, I live in the world of email, and my device doesn't have data or anything like that. I'm just kind of a pay-as-you-go phone, so I don't really have that capability at this point. Truthfully, I'm not prepared to do that. So I know that's a challenge, and we're kind of like I realize that at some point I'm going to have to get with that program, and my resistance is just that I'm juggling a lot of things already now. So it's a comfort level. It's like anything, once you've used it lots, sure, or even just 2 or 3 times, you go, oh yeah, what was the issue?
I'm also thinking ahead to the day, hopefully within the next month or 2, we'll be able to get a whole bunch of people that want to volunteer for our initiative and say, yes, I will go to this meeting and bring all these handouts and do this and do that. And who can I go talk to? And do you have a list of people I can call? We need those people. We need boots on the ground, definitely. If we're going to get 700,000 signatures, that's a big, huge effort. So
when did we say that number?
That was at the very beginning, 700,000.
Oh, you're talking about, that's the recall.
Right.
Yeah, that, we don't need that many. If we get 100,000, we'll be marching right along.
You think?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I concur with that. It doesn't matter how many you get. If we can get into the tens of thousands, that'll be plenty to get the government.
And we need then Memorial Society. That's who we need. Then that's 200,000
exactly.
members right there. I mean,
if we can if we can even get half of the Memorial Society members to sign the petition, it'll be amazing. Yeah.
It's huge because they have a reach all over BC, don't they? So we'd have signatures from every part of the province, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
It's not only Vancouver, right? Yeah. It would be great to get that.
Well, and on that note, Mom, with WI, how many WI members are there across BC? You're on
Not a
mute.
lot.
You're on mute, Ruth.
You're on mute.
Over 400.
Okay.
And
Well,
then there's
that's, if
people
you
they
can get
know.
all of them to sign.
Yeah,
Well,
something.
that's right.
Yeah.
And then there's the people they know. So.
yeah.
Well, exactly. The people they know, and it's all over the province as well. So there's
Yeah.
good distribution there. Oh, Chris is already celebrating.
I'm into the wine already.
Already?
It is 5 o'clock. You're right.
So we're getting close to the end of the meeting because I'm already 2 glasses in.
Like,
I
couldn't,
hope
Wine
it's a good
o'clock
German
somewhere?
wine.
couldn't, for instance, the BC Sierra send this out to their members in BC? They must have thousands and thousands of members.
Who's that, BC?
BC, the Sierra Club, the BC chapter.
Well,
Yeah.
Adrian, I don't know if everybody knows this, but she has put hours and hours and hours into creating a list of all of the environmental groups in BC with the view to getting in touch with each one of them with a key person and providing the website information and inviting support.
Awesome.
That
Awesome.
would be awesome.
And she's got probably 100.
Wow.
Nice.
Mhm.
I'm happy to help support her efforts on that. If she needs, the email created and all that, or however she wants to do it, she wants to run with it, that's good too. But that's awesome. I mean, if she,
Mhm.
Jocelyn, she could use some help with that because she can do the research, but technologically, she is a self-admitted that she struggles with that, which I think is why she's not on the call right now.
okay. Maybe we should email each other, create a list of who we are, our names and our phone numbers, I should say, because I'd love to be able to reach out to Adrian if I need to and not have to do everything through email, if you guys are okay with that.
Yep. So we could just email that to you, right?
Yeah, that'd be great. Are you waving at your dad, Naya?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he looks like he's half dressed too. So that's
Yeah.
great.
well, okay. Does anybody else have anything else?
Is there anything else on our agenda?
Yeah, I think we covered everything.
Just one curiosity about the website and putting, like, each of us to be able to put things on that we're doing. So I don't know if that would go under news or if there's some other category, but I've got a speaking thing coming up. I think I've got 2, one in February and one in April, and they'll be on aquamation. And throughout the year, I often do little, like just smallish groups, but this is a virtual one, so it might be a bit bigger. But for any of us who are doing things, just send it to you, Jocelyn? Like what should we do, and where would it go on the website?
Yeah, I'm happy to create an events calendar.
Okay. Yeah.
And people can go.
Great.
The events calendar would be learn more about aquamation or whatever we call it. And then they can click on the event and get to the information that you guys send me. So absolutely, yeah.
Perfect.
Events are always good. So, all right, I'll put an events calendar on. And I'm also, I think, going to put a volunteer button on. Have them register via Jot form, and then we'll keep a list and hopefully get back to them by March. That gives us a month to figure out.
Perhaps at our next meeting, we could look at the roles and responsibilities. Maybe things will become a little bit clearer spinning off from the website to coordinate. Okay, so Chris seems like sort of coordinating the petitions as far as, being a funnel for those. And then there'll be the questions coming in, and then, various other things. And perhaps each of us will be drawn to a certain aspect of that, so we can divvy those responsibilities up a little bit.
Yeah, like who would like to be the volunteer mascot?
Yeah.
I vote Chris.
No, I'm the only male of the species on this call. I don't want to be the mascot.
We'll make you a bottle of wine. We'll be all pickled in you.
Okay, you got my interest.
We need a volunteer coordinator then. Sorry.
You know me too well now.
I have an idea for more education.
Yeah.
Our community and probably most sizable communities have what's called an elder college program.
Yes.
And I think that would be a really, I mean, some things are in person now, some things aren't. But I think we could certainly in our community set something up for the fall with that. I don't know how quickly they do their programming, but.
What is that through the library? Through the library, Ellie?
No, it's Elder College is separate.
Oh,
okay.
At VIU? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's part of the community programming.
Oh.
So all the sports and educational workshops, they put out a brochure. Probably it's on the website, but I wouldn't be looking at that. And Elder College is part of that. Like it's a specialized offering of courses specifically aimed at elders. And they're really good. It's really mushroomed the time I've lived here.
There's, you see it, Ellie, as like a presentation from someone in the group to go and present to them?
Yeah.
As opposed
and
to
like available and blah, blah.
So that
the other good place I think would be I don't know quite what the proper name is, the seniors centers. Like we've got one here, probably most communities have one, and you know, people have activities and lunch sometimes, and I haven't researched.
Yeah, it's challenging with COVID right now but I can easily drop into the senior center or, figure that out. It's just a hop and a skip down the road. Oh, even closer for you, Ruth.
Well, they are open. Carrie goes there twice a week.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, he goes for carving and for carpet bowling.
Oh, well, would he be able to, inquire about
Sure, I can ask.
speaking?
Yeah, well,
He can do the speaking. I mean, he's a Toastmaster. Holy Dinah, look at that. We got Corral.
Ruth, what's the right name for it? Is it just Senior Center? Oh, she's muted again.
Ruth, is that who you're trying to talk to? You're muted. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I think it is.
Is it just called the Senior Center?
Yes.
Thanks.
And there's also other things to keep in mind too, like the Inspired 55 Plus Lifestyle magazine. I like free advertising, right? And how do I get free advertising? Interview me. Interview Chris. Interview somebody in the group, right? Because this is big. This is green. This is for our future. This is environmental. And this is accepted everywhere else in Canada, nearly. And we're supposed to be green, right?
I have a group called Seniors 101, and it's part of a seniors organization on Vancouver Island that has a huge presence. And I can get a hold of Roy Summerhays and tell him, interview me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sure.
So, the more interviews we can get, that's free advertising for what we're doing.
Yeah, and it's visibility.
Yeah.
Well, and Chris, I was thinking too, that's really great. And if you want to use any one of us as people who are not in the business, to quote, there's like me, I say, I've been a greenie for 6 decades and I want to die being one. Mm-hmm. Or, whatever.
Like I'd almost sooner have Roy contact you, Sandy, or something, and then I can give you anything you need to know, or what anything that I've done, whatever. But it's so much more legitimate coming from another person who's outside of the industry, so that we're not
have a vested interest.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for volunteering. I'm going to send Roy Summerhays your way.
I almost put my hand up. Yeah. Okay.
Always looking
I'm okay with that.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah, see, there's so much that we need to cover. Oh my God, we could have a full day meeting and not cover everything, I think.
Now, this is something that we were talking about earlier, and I'm cautioning here only because Jocelyn, you quite rightfully, I think, said, do we want to be contacting the media just yet, or do we want to solidify things a little bit?
Mhm.
So, given that that person is the media in a way, we've got sort of lower key media, and then we've got TV and radio, that kind of thing. So how do people feel about that?
I did, like, just the other day, I did a lower key media interview with a journalist from the Daily Beast. I think they're a New York based publication, and I think they're very online. So I think that the lower key ones I think we should just go for it, because that will help to spread.
Yep.
But I
Right.
kind of agree with what you're saying, Sandy, that we need to feel like we're prepared for like a CBC or a CTV or a global kind of interview, prepared as a group. So, yeah.
And that's when the board of directors, board of advisors is going to take so much more prominence on the website. So it's important that we get the right people, the right key people in place, and and that we all sing the same song, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's key.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just on that note with board of director stuff, I would be happy to be on the advisory board, and I'm fine to be on the board of directors now. But as we go and we get in other people, know that I can step back from the board of directors and just be an advisory person. So
any luck, Niall, contacting that professor at UBC?
She's out of town till February 7th, so another week or so. So okay. I'll talk to, I've got it on my notes to talk to her then. Yeah.
Great. And I still haven't heard back, and I'm going to jog their memories. Calvin Sanborn from the UVic Environmental Law Clinic, and also Trevor Hancock, who's a columnist in the TC. I'm sure all of you have read his stuff, and he's very climate conscious. And yeah, I haven't heard back from either one, so I'm just going to give them a little nudge. And yeah.
And Sandy, I checked with Betty at the office, and she said they have never had a reply from Sonia, and they did send a letter. And that was sent in October. So maybe you can, you know her. Maybe you can get something going there, because we've not had nothing.
Wow.
Well, she's in between offices right now too. She had to leave that office at Maitreya, sadly, because people were protesting and stuff. And she was, anyway, that was, I don't know where she's going to settle. But, I think will also be good to connect with Alistair. I mean, I realize, he's federal, he's the MP for our area, but he has connections too, and he's very green. So just to make him aware of the issue. And so if he is talking with anybody at the provincial level, his provincial equivalent or something, or, he can perhaps bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I will give Sonia a nudge for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I had
if you want to,
I had contact
if you
from
want to talk,
a person that was kind of like her. It was a guy who was one of her. I don't know. Corey.
Yeah. What was his name?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that was him.
Yeah.
And I was out of town at the time, and so I texted him back, and I said, absolutely, like, let's get together and talk over the phone. And yeah, he never got back to me or anything. And I kind of sent him reminder emails like, I'm still here, send me an email. And yeah, he didn't. So that if you follow up with Sonia, for sure, that would be great.
Mm.
Okay, that's Cole Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Cole, right.
Yeah. And he's the one that we had a meeting with, Zoom.
That's right. Yeah.
And I have sent him 3 emails and never had a reply. So I don't know.
Yeah,
You scared him, Ruth.
Pardon me?
Ruth scared him. Ruth, you scared him off.
I must have it.
You're very assertive,
Did everybody see Gretchen's comment to the group? that
No,
she feels a spokesperson who's a leader with the organization, perhaps rather than a lobbyist who might help with strategy? Who would be the spokesperson for BC Aquamation, for Aquamation BC? Who would that be?
if Sandy wasn't so busy, I would nominate her, but she has a pretty full plate.
Yeah, was Gretchen thinking like get some kind of BC known celebrity like person as our spokesperson, or someone from this group?
Well, it says good to have a spokesperson who is a leader with the organization, perhaps rather than a lobbyist who might help with strategy.
Yeah, so I think what she's getting at, maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe what she's getting at is someone like, for example, Robert Bateman, who has a foundation who's very interested in ecological issues and environmental issues. If you had somebody like Robert, who, if he was able to step up and say, hey, I'm an advocate for this, he would not necessarily as a spokesman, but he would be a really highly influential, person who endorsement. And then spokesperson, I guess that's somebody from the group, so that's kind of a separate role.
Yeah.
And I'm
gonna have to step away soon. I've got to move
Probably
along.
time to wind up anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Sounds
we'll
good.
keep on talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have
And I got
We
more
had another.
we have lots of things to think about and
Yes.
and go away and follow up with.
Mhm.
But hey, we're miles ahead.
Oh,
It's
I
been
can't
exciting
believe
the
the
last one.
progress. Thanks to Jocelyn.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
worries.
Yeah.
Does anybody here know Madeline, the one that's got the other petition?
Chris does. Don't we?
Madeline Christie?
Yeah.
Chris does.
No, Chris.
Me. Well, me and you, Jocelyn.
Yeah, we both know her, but does anybody else
Yeah.
know her?
So prior to you, Jocelyn, joining in, it was myself saying that between your petition through the coalition and then through Madeline's, that I would make communication. Yeah. So we'll have to keep kind of enticing Madeline to come on board somehow, and because she really has good energy, and it would be nice to have her part of it.
Well, and
Is there any reason she wouldn't want to be a part of the group?
Yeah, didn't even think to invite her since we've had our last meeting. I can certainly reach out to her as soon as.
Yeah,
we-
would you? Yeah,
Probably
absolutely.
should. Yeah.
yeah, that would be
Absolutely.
awesome.
but you
When are we getting together again?
We had kind of a regular meeting schedule.
We did.
Sandy.
Which
Yeah,
was the
so
third Friday.
It's like the third Friday, right?
yeah, I think we should maybe just follow
Stick with
what
that.
Sandy set up and originally and just carry on with that. This was kind of a special one, just to
Yeah.
talk about the technology, and now that's done, and we can
Yeah.
Is
resume
once
our
a
regular.
month right now enough as we ramp up?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third Friday
Whatever.
at 10, February 18th, that would be
That
at
was
10
the
o'clock.
next one that was scheduled. Yeah.
in the morning.
I think so, at 10. Or what are you working, folks? What's the best time?
What was the time
yeah.
that we had kind of
10.
earmarked?
10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
10 is, I can make that work.
yeah, it works.
I mean, there may be days where or months it's not going to
Yeah.
work, but if I know ahead of time, at least I can schedule around it. Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
here. Yeah, good, Sandy.
Okay, Sandy, you're the one in charge of that?
Sure.
Yeah, so we'll just reconvene our usual meeting, and now that we've had this kind of extraordinary meeting, just reconvene, Sandy, and then we'll just carry on, and then each person gives the updates like we did in the past. Format will work well.
Right.
And if you want to go back to Zoom, Sandy, that's your decision. No problem.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Gail was the hosting person there, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
All right, then. I will collate the video, upload it, and send it to everybody that missed it. I'll send it to everybody, and you guys can watch it. If you want to.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Jocelyn.
Thank
It's
you.
looking really
Appreciate
good.
Thanks,
it.
everybody.
Good to see everybody.
everybody.
Cheers.
See you
Enjoy your
all.
wine, Chris.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
evening, everybody. with your third glass of wine, Chris.